Well, good morning, farming friends, and welcome back to another edition of Farming Simulator 2015. Why do I say morning? It's day 2. Ah! Yes, we went ahead and fast forwarded, so it's 7-Eleven on day 2. So let's bring you up to date on where we are at. So, when you last left us yesterday, we were mowing a little grass for money and starting to seed field number 8. And I had this grand idea of mowing grass, hiring a hand to seed 8, and then I would run off and cultivate another field and get that going. I did that, and boy, was that a mistake. When I gave you that whole speech about $800 and $200 for the hired hand and everything, I forgot to factor in that when you hire someone to seed, not only do you have to pay them the labor to seed, but you have to pay for their consumables. Not the seed that you buy from your pallets in the field. You have to pay for their seed, and their seed is a whole lot more expensive. So, to hire a hand to seed the field while Sven was mowing grass, and remember we said it was $1,000 per trailer load. It cost him $200 to do it, so there was an $800 profit. And so I thought, well, that'll mean another hired hand will be $200 more, and yeah, that'll work out great. Well, the problem was that hired hand cost about $900 in the time it took Sven to fill up a trailer, so not cost effective. So ditch that idea real quick. But what I did manage to do was spend a couple of hours in game. Sven did his mowing, I did my seeding. I've got 8 seeded in canola, and 48 is in canola. I know I said 48 was going to go in barley. Well, I forgot to change the seeder, so 48 is in canola. 5 has been seeded in barley, and that is where we are at. So we've got about $25,000 right now. Sven is actually headed to the BGA, as you can see with the CP moving on the screen. So he'll get there and he'll dump. But today we are going to... Hang on one. Sorry about that. I had to cough. We're going to go get a fertilizer spreader, and we're going to get some fertilizer in the 3 fields that we do have planted. And then if we've got a little time left over in this video, we will jump in to the seeder and get 49 seeded. So, yeah, let's move along with what we need to do. And we'll jump into this guy here, fire him up, and we will go get our fertilizer spreader. There. Okay, that clearly, I do this every time. I drop the weight and not the cultivator. Ah, well. One day I'll learn, right? So we're doing pretty good, though. We live and learn. I do make mistakes and forget things. Clearly, that was a bonehead move on my part, forgetting that consumables cost money. And so, yeah, if your hired hand is doing seeding or fertilizing, not only do you pay for their labor, you pay for consumables, which is like 4 times the cost of what a normal consumable is. So, yeah, don't do it. Let them do everything but plant and fertilize. So we'll run back here to the shop, and we'll get a notice from Sven in just a moment that we need to dump the grass trailer. What was that? He's there. Oh, he drove off. I kind of messed up on this route. I know why he did. Oh, let me get this right. I kind of screwed up on this route and didn't correct it, but I will later. I'll just have to watch and pay real close attention to him. This trigger point is so sensitive. You got to hit it just about perfect. Anyways, something new I learned last night when working on this. When Sven, using this pause, or I've heard other people refer to it as park. If you use that for the way we're using it here, it really doesn't, it's really not meant to be used the way I'm using it. But if you do use it for, come on dude, pick up the right course. If you do use it for this, it is not a permanent pause. I realized that last night by accident. It's a momentary thing. He'll stay there for 20-30 seconds, I guess, and then he'll just drive off. So you want to make sure you pay attention to that. If you're in the middle of seeding something and you think, well, I don't want to stop, I'll grab him whenever I get a chance. You don't really want to do that, because if you do that, he's gonna sit there for about 30 seconds and then he's gonna drive off. And if he drives off and goes back to the field, you would think, well, he'll drive to the field, he'll resume his task, and it will just trigger that the wagon's full and he'll just run back to the BGA. No, he won't. He'll go back to the field and nothing will activate. It'll turn, because the forage wagon won't turn on if it's full of grass. So he'll go back there and he'll resume the route, but he won't resume mowing and foraging. So he'll just sit back there and run the route and you won't realize it. So you do have to pay attention to that, and don't let it sit on that pause more than 30 seconds without tabbing over there and dumping him, if you're going to use it in that sense the way I've done it. Typically what that P is used for, pause or park, it's in a situation in overloading where you need to set up a trigger to tell your trailer to dump its seed out because you're doing overloading. That's what you use that for. But it also comes in handy if you're going to do, let's say you've got a seed cart that you set up, mobile seed cart, or what they call utility truck or whatever, and you're going to set up a route to where as you're still in a field, you go back to it to get a refill. Well, sometimes those trigger and sometimes they don't. I've had instances where you drive by the seed cart and it'll stop long enough to get about 100 seeds in the cart and then it just pulls off. So I've had to put a P in there to have it actually pull up, stop, and get the seed and then drive on. So it's not really meant for what I'm doing with it, but it is a workaround and a solution to help you out a little bit. So anyways, so we are at $10,000 now. Man, you work hard, you make the money, and it goes down the drain real quick. Oh well, we just had to make more, right? So we're going to run over here, and the fields that we already have in place, we're going to go ahead and fertilize and get those growing so we can make some more money, and then we'll do some more for you. Let's see. Of course, we're going to use the wonderful GPS just to get our lines and be straight. And bring that on over. That looks pretty good. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit wider on that because I know this field is a little crooked. That should work. Alright. Anywho. So what else is new? I did mow the, let's say, so I did all the planting. I did, when I advanced over to this morning, I did do a little bit of manual mowing on the little small green fields that are right around the farm to generate enough grass to fill up the silage bin there at the farm, just enough to get 20%, so I could top it and start the fertilization or the fermentation. So I do have a little bit of silage working right now. So 12 hours, about 6 o'clock this afternoon or this evening, we'll have silage, and that'll be a good thing because we can start working on our pets, our livestock. Yay! However, I did think about one thing right after I got it all in place and starting to ferment. And now that I got silage, I got to get a front end loader. So we will probably, this will probably be the last video where we see this little dude's far, because we will probably be abandoning it to pick up John Deere front end loader. I do have a modded John Deere that I like. It's a little smaller, it doesn't have the horsepower, but it's a cool little John Deere, and as I've said before, I like John Deere. So we'll probably sell this one to make the money to do that, unless our canola harvest is really good and we make enough money off of selling some of the canola to get it. I would rather not sell my seed or my harvest on canola unless I just absolutely have to here in the beginning. I want to try and get enough reserve built up that when we do start getting our huge demand triggers, there's seed in the silo for such demand, and instead of making a little bit of money now, we can make good money when the demand is high. So that's, it's a risky move because you never know when demand's going to be high, and what's going to be in demand, and especially using multi-fruit when you've got 8 or 10 different things that can be in demand, as well as livestock. You never know what's going to be in demand. So, but it's better to be prepared, right? So you can cash in when demand is high. We'll just see how things go. The options are to sell this, which it's still, this will pull that small cultivator as well, which is something we're going to be doing in a little bit. Whereas I don't think that little John Deere will pull it, because that John Deere is only like 130 horsepower. It'll be something I'll look at and evaluate before the next video, because that'll probably be when we do it, because our silage will be ready, and then we can start making some TMR. On the livestock front, I did some research last night. Spent last night and this morning reading forums to find out about that fattened chicken mod. And it turns out that is a Maru. That's a Maru mod. I finally figured out where the chickens are and how to get them. So I was looking in the wrong place. I expected, because it's a mod, and I either assumed that you would just put regular chickens in and the regular chickens would fatten. Hey, come back here. I assumed that you would just buy regular chickens and put them in there, but apparently that's not the case. You have to buy fattened chickens. And so when I was looking at it, I looked at it and assumed you would buy chickens. The chickens would go in there, and they would do eggs and fattened chickens. So I looked in there. I didn't see any specific chicken. I looked in the modded section to find fattened chickens, and there's no fattened chickens in the modded section. How did I miss this one little spot? So they're actually written into the regular game placement for animals, because I looked in the I expected, well, if there's a special chicken that you need to purchase to go in there, it would be under mods. It's not. It's under the regular game section, and animals, you just have to tab over to get to where the chickens are, and actually the beef is there as well. And to show you what I'm talking about, let me get this guy right up here. Catch that little bit. So this is what I'm talking about. In the category here, this is your normal game section of stock items. And when you click on animals, you see, your four basic, your animals. And, I guess I should have realized when pigs showed up in there that you can slide over and there's your chickens for the fattening and your cows for the beef. So learn something new. And that's the reason I do these videos, is not because I'm the know-all of Farming Simulator and to share my wisdom with everyone. I do these videos because somebody asked me that the other day, why are you wasting your time doing these? I'm not trying to become some YouTube guru and make a whole bunch of money. I'm just, when I look at videos and everybody talks about what they're doing, they talk about the game, but they don't talk about how you do some things in the game. And again, not being a veteran of this, I'm just trying to share as I learn. I'm just trying to share the information that I learned for those. If there's one more person like me out there that doesn't know where everything about this game is at, and I share some information with them that helps them out, I'm pretty stoked about that. So that's why I do this stuff, and hopefully you'll learn things as I learn things, because I'll make plenty of mistakes and maybe you can learn from them. So we're gonna run over here. We got two more fields to fertilize real quick, and then we'll have a little extra time left over. We'll jump into the seeder, and we'll seed some more. Hey, don't shut the motor off. All right. I need to bring this up and adjust. Let's adjust this course all the way over. And we'll get going. I'm really looking forward to doing some other stuff too, like sunflowers and things of that nature. This game can become sort of monotonous, doing the same things over and over again. I think that's the reason, I like the ability to do chickens and to do beef and do forestry, and the addition of the orchards to be able to do fruit is a nice find. I was watching somebody do a map yesterday where they were on a map that allowed you to transport sand for money. It's nice to have the variety that are in these maps to give you more options, so it's not the same game every time. So when you play a map, this map you might do it one way, the next map you might do it another way. That's the great thing about mods as well. You don't have to play the same tractors every single time. You don't have to do everything the exact same way every single time. You can, get different equipment, do it differently. This time I may use a particular mod to enhance the game a little bit differently. You know, you might, actually try to role play the game. And, I'm a one-legged farmer, and you can walk to all your equipment, but you got a limp, so you can never sprint to your equipment. You have to walk to all of it. I mean, whatever floats your boat, you can always do that. I used to play with a guy I used to play WoW and World of Warcraft, and I played on a one of the role-playing servers for a while. And one of the guys I played with, he played like a warlock that had a limp, and he was a human with a limp, but he was a warlock. And but the thing was anytime you had to jump something, he couldn't jump it. He would always have problems with that stuff, and it was so funny. It's like, come on, stop being so literal in this. But, if that's what you want to do, you can do that, You can set it up to where you only play certain hours a day. Like me, I'll only let my guy play between, 5:30 in the morning and 8 o'clock at night. The rest of that time is gonna be rest time. But you can, some other people may look at me and say, well, you've got plant weathering turned off. That's not realistic. Well, it's not. You're right. It's not realistic. It's also not realistic that a growing day is that a field grows in 24 hours or 28 hours. Basically a day in this game is a year, or at least half a season, 12 months. 6 months, not one day. Who's planted a field and harvested it in 48 hours, So you don't have to do everything realistic, but you can make it as realistic as you want it to be. I mean, who's ever planted a field and never watered it? You got to do some sort of hydration. The ability to plant fields and not plow, which I'm guilty of not always plowing. I've done a map where I just sit and plow, cultivate, and then plant. So we'll mix it up a little bit. Bring in some new mods. But I'm not going to bring any unrealistic mods in, like that 20 meter sowing machine that's on Maru's site. I mean, yeah. That's a little bit big. I think it's 20 meters, 25 meters, something like that, to sow with. That's a little large. Little lag spike there. I don't know where that came from. Alright, so we'll probably have to go refill one more time, and then we'll come back and finish this field up. My game plan is to come back over here to 49, and we'll set it up to be cultivated, and we'll come right behind the cultivator and sow. And it looks like we're Looks like our boy is headed to the... He's about to head to the BGA. Keep an eye on him. Let me just tab over. Make sure I didn't miss him going to the BGA. And I did. Just what I told you not to do, I missed. So let me get him to drive. Oh well, I messed that up completely. Way to go, buddy. And this is one of those things that you just... Correcting this is really hard. Unless I can get him to go. Alright, looks like he'll run. What I did on this, and I need to go back and correct it, I drove this path, and when I got to the grass unload, I put my paws up, and not thinking that I was recording, I went ahead and backed up like I was going to dump grass, which put a couple extra waypoints in, which messed the whole thing up. And I should have fixed that, and I didn't. So I need to go back and re-record that route, but I'm not going to do that on camera. I'll do it off. And not that big of a deal right now. And some of the things I need, like, I should go ahead and purchase a utility trailer. You know, I've got one that's about $3,000, but at the same time, I don't want to spend the money on it. The problem with it is just as soon as I buy a utility trailer and get it, I get enough money to buy a larger seeder and a larger fertilizer to where I don't need the utility trailer anymore. You know, but in the beginning you got to make all these little runs back and forth to the fertilizer or back and forth to the seed pallet. You know, because that little seeder just doesn't hardly hold anything until you can get that bigger Vanderstat. Where's he at? Just almost there. Alright, so we'll stick with this guy long enough to get him in here and dumped. Might give him some gas while he's in here. Not particularly low. That's the other thing. It seems like the fuel consumption on hard is a lot higher than it is on normal or easy mode. It seems like the stock tractors use a lot more fuel in hard mode than they did in any of the other ones. And it's little things like this that now that I've played the game a lot, I'm starting to notice more. The one thing I really disagree with in this game is the daily maintenance fees as well. I mean, what would be nicer to see, instead of this particular tractor's $400 a day in maintenance, or this tractor is, you know, $90 in maintenance a day, which is, you know, why a more expensive tractor doesn't cost as much to maintain. But instead of seeing that, I would rather see like a durability side to it, where okay, well you use sort of like in Euro truck. If you hit something, it takes a little percentage of damage on your truck or the trailer. You know, same thing with this. Well, if you run through a wall with your tractor or implement, you cause a little damage to it. And so you start off with 100% durability, you go down to like, 95% durability, and over time you get to a point where, okay, well, the durability on my seeder, I ran over 2 tree stumps and drug my seeder across the asphalt, or so that caused damage with it. Or I took my cultivator, instead of raising it up to back up and make a turn, I left it in the ground and backed up and did a 3-point turn. Well, that bent the tines a little bit on it, so I've damaged it a little bit. And over time, as you get down to durability, where you could even write the algorithm to where, say, well, if the durability's down to 45%, you start missing spots as you're seeding, or you miss spots when you're plowing. As you plow, you leave a line that because you got a bent tine somewhere. How cool would that be? And then okay, so instead of paying daily maintenance, over time your durability wears out on your equipment. You got to take it to the machine shop and you got to repair it. So that costs you a little bit of money when you take it to the repair shop. Or you take it to your own shop and you do maintenance at your own shop. It's I'd rather see that in game than a mandatory daily maintenance on a tractor, because, well, if I got a tractor that's just sitting, why am I paying maintenance on it? What? Gosh, I do some stupid things sometimes. Why pay daily, why pay the maintenance on an implement that's sitting? I've got a plow sitting in the garage and it's not being used at all. Why am I going to pay maintenance on that? That seems stupid to me. So, little things like that irritate me in the game, but it is what it is. I say that a lot, don't I? It is what it is. Alright. Home stretch here. We'll get this guy going. And alright, our buddy's back in the field, and hopefully he'll resume mowing grass. It'll probably take him a while to catch up. Alright, fertilizing is done. Head back to the farm. We'll change implements and we'll set this guy up to do some cultivating. And the end of this video will pretty much be setting up our next field. And what we'll do is we'll set this guy up to cultivate, and he'll be paid his working wage, and I'll come behind him and seed right behind him. And that way we can at least use him as a hired hand, and not have to pay for the consumables, and make some progress at the same time. Nice. So swing around. Back this up. Drop it off. Grab that cultivator real quick. Alright, and we're going to head over to field 49. And yes, I still have field number 7 and 11 to plant. But in the interest of something for you to watch other than me just seed, I thought I would do something different and go ahead and cultivate and plant 49 at the same time. And then off camera I'll go plant 7 and 11. Because let's be honest, watching somebody cultivate or plant or any of that, it's only interesting if they're using new equipment. Once you see it one time, you've seen it. Or unless they're, they're doing something a little more complicated than they normally do. Okay, so we're going to set up for field work. And we are in field 49. Starting corner is going to be the southeast. And we are headed to the west. And we're going to do, I think, two routes will work. Generate course. Alright, and we'll let him get going. Seriously, I was right underneath the starting point. Make sure he's mowing grass again. He is. Alright, so we can start this guy up. Got plenty of seed in him. And we will head over to the field. So our next video, everything willing, we'll do some harvesting and work on. With the next harvest, we'll harvest some. We'll get some straw, and I'll get some grass stockpiled. And so when the next one shows up, we'll work on the auto mixer. We'll fill it up so we get some TMR after we harvest the barley, and then we can start getting ourselves some cattle, and that'll be a good thing. All right. Get out of the way of that guy. There we go. Letting him get a little bit further up before we start. Oops. Alright, set that down. Raise that weight. And let's see, we are going to plant. What do we want to plant? Let's plant a little It's a smaller field. Let's do a little more barley, because that other field's tiny. So we'll do barley on this field. And that should, with him making that turn right there, that should give us a good buffer on each of us. By the time I get around here with my 2 rows, he's probably going to be 2 or 3 rows off. And that should be good for us. And we're going to miss a little bit in the corners. I don't really care about that much. Now the only thing you have to be careful on here is if you do this way and you're gonna chase a cultivator, keep in mind that you don't want to do, if he's doing 2 headlands, you don't want to seed 2 headlands and then, you know, catch up and start doing your crossing pattern. What you want to do is seed 1 headland and then do your crossing pattern and leave a buffer zone between your first headland and what he's doing, because he'll come and cultivate what you just did. So keep that in mind. And he'll drop his cultivator right in the middle of what you've already seeded. Alright, we're off to the races now. So we'll just work back and forth, and he'll keep 2, what looks like 2 lanes ahead of us at all times. And this way we can get this field done a little bit faster than me cultivating it, than me seeding it. As long as we keep the other guy mowing grass, I don't lose any money doing this. So Sven is hauling grass at this point, so I need to keep an eye on him. Where's he at? He's not too far from the BGA. And with me having to stop and go dump him all the time, that'll also allow that cultivator to get ahead of me. I love automation. It's like playing multiplayer, but you're not. Alright, let's tab over to this guy and dump him real quick. I'll probably post 2 videos. I might do it today. I might go ahead and do that apple orchard video. Oops, remember to stop him. All right. But yeah, I may post that apple orchard video today. I need to get over and record that. Which will mean there'll be a lot of harvesting that needs to be done on my big country. Because I'll have to fast forward the video to pick that up. Alright, drive. Let's get back to seeding. Alright, well, that's kind of what I got going on now. At this point, it's just seeding a couple more fields. My game plan is to get the rest of them is to seed as much as I can do in the next I don't want to get so much because I'm limited by that little combine. I can't do a ton of work with just one combine, so, and especially as little as it is, so I can't plant too many fields right now. What I'd like to do is plant man, I'm just all over the place. Come on, get the right road. I would probably plant a couple of fields, maybe plant 3 fields, and then I'll probably go work on something else to give me about 2-3 hours in between the fields that I have, and you know, if I get these 3 fields planted, there's 6 hours in between the planting of those other fields and these 2 fields, or these fields. So we'll get these planted, these 3 planted, fertilize them, and then do something while for a little bit of time to give them time to grow between the next planting. So when it comes time to harvest, you've got a field ready to harvest. You harvest those, and by the time you finish harvesting those, then your next 3 fields come ready to harvest, instead of having 6 or 12 fields come up ready to harvest at the exact same time, because there's absolutely, you know, there's no way to keep up with that. And then if you had withering turned on, you wouldn't be able to harvest them all before the withering would take effect and kill them all. So I'd rather keep it to where I've got 3 ready to harvest, and while I'm harvesting those, the next 3 come up ready to harvest. That's my goal in planting, is to stagger it out. And when you're doing, as soon as we get some forestry, and maybe I go buy a piece of forestry equipment. Really all I need is a wood chipper and a chainsaw. If I buy a wood chipper and a chainsaw, I could cut some trees down, and I do that all the time. I forget to hit the trigger to hotkey that, and I end up hiring a helper. Maybe get a chainsaw and a wood chipper and go cut some trees down to make some wood chips and make a little more money. So who knows? To look at the price on the wood chipper. Because the trees in this don't necessarily lend themselves to cutting down and hauling off as logs. There is one section of logging area on this map with the logging logs, or the logging trees, the straight, nice straight trees. The rest of them are all these landscape trees, and the trunks on them aren't straight, so they're more for wood chipping. Alright, well, this video is getting a little long here. We're up to 50 minutes. So I'll keep on planting and doing my thing, and in the next video we'll probably start harvesting some of this stuff, or if I do start doing some wood chipping, it'll be cutting down some trees and making some money that way. Hope you enjoyed the videos, guys. As always, if you do, subscribe and give me a thumbs up to like the video. It helps out tremendously. And check out some of the rest of the videos. If you want to learn more about this map, there is an introduction video for the map, as well as some maps from some other things that we do. It's a work in progress. If you're just joining me before I get a whole lot of videos up, this channel is under development. So I hope you do enjoy the videos, and I hope you'll come back for more. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, thanks again for watching this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, well, maybe you liked it. So give me a big old thumbs up. That like goes a long way. Also, subscribe to this channel. I will update the videos every single day, so there'll always be something new for you to see. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back again tomorrow. Thanks for your support.